Kat, you are on fire.
Only when it's not my turn.
And I'm just never doing that. Just never on fire.
No, you're on fire. You're on fire right now.
Oh, thank you.
Abby and Kat were born in 1997 and became best friends when they were 6. Grew up together and started a band and bonded over music ever since. 20 years later, they are all grown up and spend their free time analyzing lyrics. Now here they are talking all about their Lord and Savior, Dr. Taylor Allison Swift. Taylor, if you're listening, we love you.
Welcome to Swift Lore Podcast, where we dive into the lyrics and lore of our Lord and Savior, Dr. Taylor Ellison Swift.
Absolutely, that's why we're here.
I'm Kat.
I'm Abby.
And we're fucking here. We're here.
We barely.
Physically, we're here. Audioly, we're with you.
This is
mentally
another hot mess
who's to say where the fuck we are?
I don't know.
I had COVID, which is why we missed last week.
Yeah.
But I got COVID at a Foo Fighters concert, which is karma. Karma is the COVID-19, making it hard to breathe.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
And that's all I have to say about the Foo Fighters concert, because if you don't have anything nice to say.
Oh, yeah, that was
the part I saw was good.
They canceled midway for those who were not aware, and it was very sad for everyone.
Yeah. And then I posted an angry TikTok, and then I got a lot of hate because I was being a dick.
Well,
just because I'm an asshole, people can call me an asshole? Yeah. I think it's because in the last episode you were too nice to me, and I was like, actually, I need everybody to know that I'm a bitch.
The best thing was that you literally sent it to our group chat, and you said, I'm going to post this. And I said, Kat, I love you so much. Do not put that on Swift Lore.
I wasn't going to, I don't think. I don't know.
Good.
I was also very drunk. It was a time. And then I thought that I was just really hungover. And I thought that's why I felt so sick. And then I went to Providence with a friend of the pod, Brienne. And then I thought I had allergies. And I had the COVID.
Yeah, it was rough. I'm so sorry.
It really, it'd be like that. But now I've been home for a week, and now I'm leaving again tomorrow. And I hate past me for making this choice. But I'm going to Lollapalooza. So when you hear this, Lala already palooza'd.
Kat and I are notorious for doing the most. We literally overbook, and then we're just like, man, I can't.
Who did this? Why did I do this to myself?
Who did this? Someone did this. Wasn't me.
The other fun thing about having COVID last week is that I was trying to finish my draft to get to my editor, because my book, I think we might have a release date.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I don't know if I'm going to say it because I don't know if it's going to but it's tentatively September.
Fun.
Late September. That's all I'm saying.
Do you remember? I cannot.
It won't be September 21st because.
Okay. Oh, but one thing though is that we'll be coming up on our 1 year of the pod.
We will be. That is October 1st.
October. Oh, really? Well, because I remember we can finally mention this because we forgot to mention it many moons ago. Many moons ago when we figured it out. We came up with the idea for Swift Lore on September 13th.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's the whole theory about September 13th, because that's the date that's mentioned by Stevie Nicks in like the liner notes.
So if Rep TV gets announced on September 13th, all I have to say is we were the Easter eggs all along.
Yeah, exactly. If that happens, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll throw a party. It'll be great. And speaking of parties, we had our first monthly live stream hangout moment for Patreon members. It was really fun.
We watched the Journey to Fearless documentary, which is a made for TV documentary about the Fearless tour.
Yeah.
It's really cute if you want to see little right before Speak Now came out, Taylor, she's 19 or 20. She's a baby. I haven't watched it in a while. I watched it last week with our friend Brienne when I was on vacation. That's where I got the idea to watch it on the live stream. But before that, I hadn't seen it in years. And I forgot, pretty much her entire band from Fearless tour is still with her on the Eras tour now. They've still consistently been there.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Most touring musicians do not do that. That's not the norm at all in the industry. So
it was really wholesome. I enjoyed it. I'd never seen it before. Neither did anyone else that was on the live stream.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of people know it exists, because it's I don't know if Taylor even cares about it, because there's 4 or 5 pirated versions of it on YouTube for free.
Interesting.
Which is how we know Taylor doesn't care about it, because we know that girl loves her copyright. So maybe she doesn't own the copyright to it.
Oh, that's really possible. Yeah. I don't know.
I will say, if you watch it, warning, Scott Borchetta.
Yeah.
And Taylor talking nicely about him. So that's painful.
That's interesting. It's so interesting to watch and just think back to where she was then. Wow. But it was so much fun, that live stream.
It was.
Yeah. We're really having a moment. I have a pun in my head that like life is rough because haha black dog, because I'm covering the black dog. There we
and
go.
I'm covering Hoax.
Right. And that's because they both mention best laid plans.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a pretty good theme for today, considering our best laid plans.
Yeah, literally every single thing about today that I've planned has gone wrong in one way or another.
Don't you hate that?
I went in the office for some meetings that had to be in person, and then both the meetings got canceled while I was already in the office. And I went to my haircut, and then my hairdresser was running 25 minutes late.
Oh.
Luckily, I was 5 minutes late to the appointment, because otherwise I would have been 5 minutes madder.
You would have made a TikTok.
No, I only make TikToks when I have to sit on the concourse for an hour with other people, hoping that the concert doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was rough.
Again with the rough. Rough.
Oh wait, I wrote down other things I wanted to talk about.
Oh gosh, okay.
The Orla album. I saw it earlier, and I was just like, I'm gonna wait till we're on the pod. Orla Gartland, our love. She announced the name of her album.
And we got tickets to see her.
And we're gonna see her.
We got tickets to see her.
We're seeing her the second night of tour, which is ideal because then we'll know what's on the set list.
Yeah.
But also, like, it'll still be fun and new.
Oh, I'm so freaking excited. That's going to be amazing.
Excited.
And Orla, I love you. I love your work.
And if anybody else is seeing Orla Gartland on November 8th in New York, we'll be there.
Pull up.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Also, I was planning on wearing my cardigan today because... So my outfit was going to be that from the waist up, it looks like I have my shit together, and then I'm wearing sweatpants. So the hoax is that I have my shit together. But then I was too hot, and I took off the cardigan. So now the hoax is completely gone. And also we talked for like 5 minutes about how I don't have my shit together. So
I'm wearing black because I'm covering the black dog. And I also brought a cup that is from Cape Cod, and it's a dog on it. The dog is blue, but we're just going to pretend.
You know, if you're like super colorblind, it could be black.
That's true. If you're in the dark, it's definitely black.
If you like shine a light through it, the shadow is black.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of reach that Swifties love. And now I'll get into Hoax. So this is track 16 on Folklore. We talked in a different episode about how Taylor said in the Long Pond studio sessions how she wanted Hoax to be what people thought the end of the album was, and then The Lakes is the actual ending, and it's more like hopeful and dreamy and stuff. And then whenever I said that before, Abby was like, "Oh, so it's a hoax ending." I just want to bring that back up because that was such a good point.
I forgot I said that.
I wrote it down, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I did." I don't remember making that note. I must have been peak COVID. I was just feverish, and I was like, "I have to give Abby credit."
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So the song was written by Taylor and Aaron and produced by Aaron. I saw this on the Wikipedia and I couldn't find what article they were quoting exactly, like, so grain of salt. But apparently Taylor wrote the lyrics for this first and then sent it to Aaron for him to do the track for it and like come up with the melody and everything. Where most of the songs that Taylor and Aaron wrote together for Folklore, Aaron had a track, sent it to Taylor. Taylor wrote the rest of the song, sent it back. Like Mad Woman, I believe, was like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so that's it's just a switch up. This song has been performed live twice, if you count Long Pond studio sessions. If you don't, then once, and it was mashed up with Sweet Nothing and Dublin Night 1 on June 28th,
That's
2024.
wild. That was wild that she did that.
That really is wild that she did that because Hoax and Sweet Nothing.
Is there anything in common with those two songs?
Pain.
But it's pain in different fonts. It's different pain. One thing that I did, has Labyrinth, This Is Me Trying, has that been out since our last episode? I don't know, but I heard that.
Yeah, I don't know when
Heard it against my will on TikTok.
And then she sent it to me so I could hear it against my will.
It hurt. That shit hurted.
I just wanted you to know I'm falling in love. That's like fucking brutal.
out.
That was actually a
No.
crime. That was a crime. I will be pressing charges. In terms of my personal connection to the song, I don't really like relate this to any relationships that I've been in. But this song is so good that it makes me want to like write a character that relates to this song, because I think that would be a fun way to get to listen to the song a lot. My overall interpretation of the song is that it is the prequel to So Long London in a lot of ways, and also kind of a sequel to False God.
Oh, interesting.
Well, there's honestly, this song, like almost every line in this song parallels another Taylor Swift lyric.
I bet.
It's kind of crazy. I didn't realize how much it did until I really like started looking through it, because I listened to this song, but I feel like this is a song that I listen to if I'm listening to folklore all the way through. I don't really have this on a lot of playlists because, like I said, I don't really relate to this song. So it's not something that I've like gone out of my way to listen to a lot.
Yeah, I don't listen to this one very much either because it's so sad.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like I listen to Peace a lot more. I feel like Peace and Hoax are also kind of like sides of the same coin, where Peace is like questioning it, and then Hoax is like, you knew all this stuff when you started dating me, and you know that I'm a mess and that I'm in pain all the time, and like,
yeah,
I don't want another shade of blue but you. So verse 1, my only one, paralleling dress, my one and only, my lifeline, my smoking gun. I don't have anything else to say about that line other than the parallel. I don't know what the parallel means other than like my only one. It's interesting, like it starts with a very like a little piano moment, and then she's just like, my only one. She launches right, so we know it's about one person.
Well,
oh wait, the one is literally the beginning of this album, and the album ends with my only one, and it would have been fun if you would have been the one.
Ow. Okay.
Ooh, I just came up with that right now.
Well,
and I didn't like it.
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks. Put that thing back where it came from, more so help me. Second line, my smoking gun. So obviously smoking gun is like a common thing that people say for like somebody having incriminating evidence of them committing a crime, is like, you know, you're holding the smoking gun, somebody just got shot, obviously you shot them.
Right.
In Look What You Made Me Do, also on Rep, she said, you said the gun was mine. So she's saying like the clear evidence. What does this note say? I just be writing shit sometimes in my notes. Hey, join the Patreon to see the nonsense that I write in my notes. But like in this line, she's saying that there's kind of like clear evidence of what happens to people who are in relationships with her, and like what they go through in the public eye and the public scrutiny, and all the think pieces and the podcasts and all the things that happen when you date Taylor Swift. It's like my smoking gun. It's like you saw what already has happened in the past.
It also reminds me of like, it's a blaze in the dark and you started it. Like,
yeah,
he's the smoking gun. He started it. He shot the gun.
You dated me. You started this. You knew what was going to happen. It's on you, man. My eclipsed sun. Apparently there is an Easter egg for this line in the Man music video. I don't know if I believe that, because the song was not written when the Man music video came out, but I guess in one of the scenes in the Man, behind her there's an eclipsed sun.
Alternatively, this is a reference to Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer.
That was when I was younger. That was my favorite Twilight book.
Weird take.
You knew me when I was that age. This is. I wanted to be not like other girls, but I was a huge Twilight fan.
So you chose Eclipse, which is,
well, I liked the drama. I liked
fair.
the angst.
It was just Jacob. They murdered his character in Eclipse.
Yeah. I think I just wanted Edward to be the right choice so bad that I was like, yes, this is character assassination of Jacob. I'm in.
Fair enough. I just had to bring that up. But also, you're probably going to say this, but also, you know, an eclipse being that the light is being blocked. So
yeah. So this is the first time that I paralleled So Long London. So I was thinking like, you know, a sun, like saying somebody's my sun, like my sunshine, really bright and like exuberant and shining. But then an eclipse sun is somebody who could be all those things, but there's some sort of shadow blocking them and making it so that only a little bit of the light can peek through. So like it makes me think of So Long London, like how much sad did you think I had, of like how long did you think I could live without the full light?
It also makes me wonder, like, is he the sun or is he the eclipse? Like,
Yeah, that's exactly. And that's what's interesting because it's like he's the eclipsed sun. So he's not the sun. He's the eclipsed sun. So it's like, what does that? Yeah.
right.
Who knows?
I love that. I mean, I love that line a lot.
Yeah, it's such an interesting because I feel like all the lines in this song are just kind of not throwaway, but like until you start thinking about them, they don't seem that deep. But then you start thinking about them, and you're like, oh wow, there's actually like a lot here.
Yeah. Also, if you just said this, I'm so sorry. You know that my focus is all over the place.
You're
but
fine.
there's also 2 graves, 1 gun in So Long London. Did you just say
I
that?
didn't say that.
Okay.
But I wish I had because that's a good point. So I'm glad you said it.
The brain cell pulled
Someone
through.
had to say it. Give it back. Just kidding.
Ooh. That was a true visual bit. Wow. I just
on YouTube for the
ping
visual
ponged
bits.
to the brain cell to Kat, and then she acted like, you know, she
Like
was,
I got it.
all right.
But as you can tell, I didn't. This has broken me down. You know, actually, I do relate to this. But just like in the context of this song and not my life, just like the way that seeing somebody that you love suffer because they love you must just be a really painful experience to go through. Yeah, sucks. My twisted knife. Another Reputation parallel. You stab me in the back while shaking my hand, and this is why we can't have nice things. Also, Say Don't Go from 1989. Why'd you have to twist the knife? So she had already written Say Don't Go before this album.
True.
She had not. Oh, yeah, she had written both of these. I know how time works, I promise. But also, like, this is another common phrase of, like, you stab someone, you twist the knife, you're going for, like, maximum damage, maximum pain, maximum suffering.
Yeah.
And say, like, you're my twisted knife. Like, you're the person who can hurt me the most. Because what, I think it was when she was talking about, I think it was in the Long Pond Studio session, she was talking about My Tears Ricochet and how, like, somebody who knows you and loves you can hurt you so much more than a stranger can because they know you and they love you and they have seen you at your most vulnerable. So it's like, you're my twisted knife because you can hurt me anytime. And you do?
That's true. But also I'm thinking that, like, she's saying he's the eclipse sun, he's the twisted knife. And, like, in both of these situations, it's not the sun's fault that it's in the darkness, and it's not the knife's fault that it's being twisted.
It's just like a way to hurt her or put her down.
Right. Like, that's just who he
Oh,
is.
that's
He comes
interesting.
along with pain. He comes along with darkness.
My sleepless night. Easter egg, Midnights. That's really all I wrote down. But also, I think, again, it's like another thing that's impacting her, but it's not necessarily the other person's fault. Like a sleepless night, you're going to be tired.
Yeah, if he's the knight, it's not exactly the knight's fault that she's sleepless.
Exactly. My winless fight. She's, fighting against something she can't possibly control, like the media perception, the way that people interact with her and Taylor Swift TM and how they treat the people that she loves. So it's, this winless fight. This has frozen my ground. In the next track on the album, The Lakes, a red rose grew up out of ice-frozen ground with no one around to tweet it, which is important that there's nobody to tweet it. Because fuck Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's the point.
That, did Elon Musk own Twitter at that point? No. But
That's true. It has changed.
as we know, Taylor
Everything
Swift
has
had a
changed.
prophecy.
That's true.
And Dancing with Her Hands Tied also, my love had been frozen, deep blue, but you painted me golden. And the blue comes back later as well. So I think that's probably more what she was paralleling was Dancing with Her Hands Tied. And then, of course, there's a holy ground of it all.
Right.
Because like this has frozen my ground. As in the winter, the ground freezes. Nothing can grow out of it except for red roses, I guess.
Is that true?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was just quoting The Lakes.
Oh. I had a moment because I'm notoriously bad at plants.
No, that's valid. Nothing can grow out of frozen ground. It's
Okay,
frozen.
okay.
But also, I thought this was an interesting parallel to like the Reputation era, like the Taylor Swift was over party, how she kind of went into hiding. Like that was a sort of hibernation for her career. And like this has frozen my ground. I had to like retreat and get out of here so that I could survive it. Onto the chorus. Stood on the cliffside, screaming, give me a reason. Obvious-ish parallel to This Is Me Trying. Pulled the car off the road to the lookout, could have followed my fears all the way down. And it's kind of this like, she's standing there screaming, give me a reason. It's like, give me a reason to jump, to not jump. She's not saying like what she wants. She's just saying, give me a reason.
Yeah.
And she's standing on a cliff. You know what? Oh no, that's a new moon. Not an eclipse.
This song has Twilight all over it, is what we're saying.
This is Twilight.
No.
I thought it, and then I was like, I'm going to say it, and it's going to be just as bad out loud as it is in my head. And I was right. So I got that going for me.
The prophecy.
And I couldn't give a reason. Champagne problems.
Oh, I just got chills on that frozen
ground. But also
ground.
I was kind of thinking like, you know how people like propose with like scenic backdrops and like on a cliffside? So like if it is a champagne problems parallel, it could be like, you know, give me a reason to say yes. We don't know what the reason is. We can only imply.
We don't even know what the question is.
We don't even know what the question is. We don't know what the reasoning is. We don't know anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is interesting, is that like we have to use the context of like, yeah, she's on a cliffside. She's probably debating whether or not to jump, but also there's many things that can happen on a cliff besides jumping off of it. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in. And false God, even if it's a false God, we'd still worship this love. So I think that this still is kind of like in line with that idea of like, I don't believe in God, but I believe that you're my savior. Or yeah. That's the line from that song, Sailor Song, that's trending on TikTok right now. There's a banger. Would recommend. All the Christians are very mad about this line. Which is weird because it's a song about lesbian sex. So I feel like they have bigger problems.
All right, this is where my chronic offline-ness strikes again.
Oh, you would love this song. Well, I'm going to play like 2 seconds of it.
Okay. Okay, so we're adding it to playlist right now. Okay. What is this? So it's called Sailor Song?
Yeah, it's by Gigi Perez. So like this idea of what?
I just tried writing it on a note and it changed to Gigi Pete.
Yeah, Gigi Pete.
Okay, sorry.
Fresh new song.
I'm gonna listen to it later.
Sailor. Anyways, so in line with false God, like even if it's a false God, they'd still worship, no matter, even if it's a hoax. It's a faithless love. She still is going to believe in it, even if it's a hoax. Even if it's a false God, she still worship. And then also I feel like this kind of like brings up the idea of her questioning this relationship is like so monumental and earth-shattering to her that it's the same as questioning whether or not there is a God. So she's questioning this is as painful as like just shifting her entire perspective and her entire reality.
Yeah.
Don't want no other shade of blue but you. Taylor loves blue, even though she has an album named Red. And Lover, My Heart's Been Borrowed and Yours Has Been Blue. Delicate, Oh Damn, Never Seen That Color Blue. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. So Sad, We Paint the Town Blue. Paper Rings, I'm With You Even If It Makes Me Blue. Afterglow, I blew things out of proportion, now you're blue. Basically, she's saying she doesn't want to be sad in any other way than the way that she is with him. And like she is okay with this sadness if it's the sadness that she has with him.
Wow.
But also, you know, she feels this way now, but no other sadness in the world would do. How much sad did you think I had in me? Familiar pain is often like, people will stay in relationships even if it's painful because knowing how you're going to feel feels safer than going out into the unknown. It's like, maybe I'll be happy, but maybe I'll be more miserable. You can't tell. You just have to take that leap of faith. So it's like, but she doesn't want to risk that. She just wants no other sadness in the world, just this one. Verse 2, my best laid plan. The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. I'm sure Abby will also talk about this.
I sure will.
This is from the Robert Burns poem. and just means, no matter how well you plan something, there's always going to be forces outside of your control that impact it. And we know that Taylor Ellison Mastermind Swift loves a plan, so that's a hard thing to
She's
to
an
deal
architect.
with.
She's drawing up the plans.
Exactly. Your sleight of hand. This is the first your, because it's been my, this, but now it's your sleight of hand. Oh, also I forgot to say in verse 1, but it's my. It's very Death by a Thousand Cuts coded at the beginning. The my, which is also lover coded.
Oh, ow.
Yeah. So this is just a different variation of Death by a Thousand Cuts in some ways.
It's also in a very sad time travel way, foreshadowing like her best laid plans, your sleight of hand, how she thought she was the mastermind and he knew the entire time.
Yes. 100%. But also so that your sleight of hand is like, she had her best laid plans, but he had this trick sleight of hand illusion up his sleeve. So as much as she thought that she was drawing up the plans, he knew the entire time and was just going along with it. But then, if he decides not to go along with it anymore, he can just bow out.
Right.
My barren land, Death by a Thousand Cuts, our country, guess it was a lawless land. Barren land is land that's like not fruitful. It's frozen ground. So she's saying, this is frozen my ground, and now I have this barren land. Like I can't do anything. Like from a creative perspective, like if you're saying like I'm barren of ideas right now, it's like you're very like stuck. You can't produce anything, which we know Taylor Swift has never had a problem with in her life, but maybe she did for like a minute, and then she wrote a song about it. So there goes her problem. I am ash from your fire. There's like that common saying that I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's like the idea of like don't burn yourself up to keep others warm. And yeah, like she's ash from your fire. Like it's his fire. Like, he isn't fire. It's your fire. So there was a fire. She was burned and now she's ashes. They're burning all the witches, even if you aren't one. But also it made me think of the line from So Long London. My back broke from carrying us up the hill. Of like, I did this to help both of us, and now I'm ash. But also, phoenixes are reborn from ashes, and it's me, I rise up from the dead. I do it all the time.
True.
But also she has a song where she says...
There's Dear John where she talks about being burned, and I know that's the thing. I don't have those lyrics memorized.
What I think it's... What song is she saying that it's like exhausting to reinvent herself all the time?
I know we've talked about it.
I know we covered the song and I can't remember what it is. So just insert that here. But like, how exhausting it is to always...
how everybody just
expects me to bounce back just like that. Yeah. I feel like she says Phoenix in a song, but I don't feel like looking it up.
I know. We've definitely talked about another song that mentions this, but we can't remember.
And then the choruses again, it's the same chorus. And then we have the bridge. So like this whole bridge just to me feels like one side of a fight, where she's just listing all these things of like, you knew what to expect going into a relationship with me. You knew how all of my exes were treated. It doesn't matter what you do. People are always going to act the same way about me dating someone. Like you can say you want privacy and never talk about me in interviews and never be seen out in public and do all these things, but people are still going to talk about you. And like having this bridge after peace of like her saying like, would it be enough if I could never give you peace? And then this one where clearly there's some sort of like something that happened that's making her be like, you knew all this stuff. Like it wouldn't be enough if I never gave you peace, but also you should have known what was going to happen before this started.
Yeah.
I left a part of me back in New York. After the Taylor Swift is Over party, it happened. She fled to England for a year, and like, when you are in that state of mind and you're like fleeing from something, you're not just leaving a place behind, you're leaving a version of yourself and pieces of yourself behind. And it kind of reminded me of in Cassandra. Anyways, how like the patched up the crack along the wall, but like she still when she passes it, she still knows that it was there. It's like,
Yeah.
I left a part of me back in New York. I may be a new person now, but I still remember the version of me that was there and experienced this trauma.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You knew the hero died, so what's the movie for? Change the prophecy. Let it once be me. Like this idea that Taylor thinks all of her relationships are doomed or just like are going to cause suffering in some way because of the way that she is under such intense public scrutiny all the time. And like, but we still watch tragic stories. Like, I mean, I'm a Hamlet girly. All the Shakespearean tragedies, you know, going into a tragedy that it's going to end with pretty much every main character dying in a tragic way. Like that's just what happens. Like, you know, the hero dies. So what's the movie for? Like, why are we still running this back knowing that it's just going to be painful and that it's just going to end the same way that it did last time?
Yeah.
You know, it still hurt. You knew it still hurts underneath my scars from where they pulled me apart. You drew stars around my scars, but now I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
Just because something like scars over and heals doesn't mean that it doesn't still hurt people or hurt you. I don't know why I made that third person there. Meant to make it second. Anyways, that's grammar lessons with Kat. Like, I think of this, for some reason I was thinking of like phantom limb syndrome where amputees still feel pain in their limbs that they no longer have. And it's psychological, but at the same time, psychological pain is still pain.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're still feeling it. Doesn't matter if it's, I'm doing air quotes, real or not. Like, you're still, you have these scars and these traumatic experiences, and you're not going to just suddenly get over it just because it's been a while and you should, I'm doing air quotes again, be over it. Like, there's not a linear path to healing from trauma, especially on like the scale that Taylor experienced. This just, it still hurts underneath the scars.
Yeah.
You knew the password, so I let you in the door. It's just something about this is so like, it makes me think of like little kids having like their little like password forts, and you're like, ooh, what's the password? And it's like, boys are the worst. And it's like, okay, come in.
Well, that's just a story from our childhood.
Honestly, probably.
It also reminds me of my song with, you know, you didn't turn your location off. Like, you had the passwords, you went in the door, and just like that sharing of intimacy, like, you know, each other's like, secrets.
Exactly. It's like, you knew what I wanted to hear. You knew like the situation I was in, and you acknowledged it. So I thought that you understood what you were doing. You knew you won. So what's the point of keeping score? High infidelity. I didn't know you were keeping count, but oh, you were keeping count.
Yeah.
And just like we talked about this, or I talked about this at Abby in the high infidelity episode, about how like keeping score in relationships just is a very like toxic mindset to have, because if every time that you do something for your partner or your partner does something for you, you're mentally doing a tally, like you're not enjoying your relationship. You're like in a 1v1 love off, which is not really the vibe.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of this idea of like, you have me, so like, why are you keeping score? Like, why are you still thinking about this as if we're still in this like chase phase? You're trying to win me, or I'm trying to win you. Like, that's not what's happening here. The game is over.
Right.
And then she repeats, you knew it still hurts underneath my scars from where they pulled me apart, just to really like drive home of like, all these things are wrong, but you knew this going in. You knew what you were getting into.
And that's just a painful image in general. Every time I hear that lyric, that is just painful. That is like viscerally painful.
Exactly. Like, they pulled me apart. They pulled you apart and they looked at what was inside. And then even if it heals over, you know that people saw this vulnerable part of yourself that you never wanted exposed.
Yeah.
Because they were just pulled apart is like such a like forceful thing of like, you know, pulling or tearing, or like, it's very aggressive.
And there's also like, once you do heal, you're kind of Frankenstein back together in a way, if you were literally pulled apart in this case. And that reminds me sort of Frankenstein, which in Fortnite, the Fortnite music video is very Frankenstein-y. It all comes together.
It all comes together. It's all an Easter egg. But what you did was just as dark. Like,
yikes.
You know, and I paralleled Say Don't Go again, of like, why'd you have to make me love you? And it's like, she let him in. She let him see the parts of herself that were forcibly exposed before, but she willingly let him in because he knew the password. So she let him in the door. He didn't have to pull her apart. She opened up for him. And that's it. It's like, it's just as dark as when they pulled her apart. It's just as hard.
Yeah.
Because like, there's a couple ways of like, you know, maybe they fell in love and then he's doing things as if he didn't realize things were going to happen. She's like, you knew what you were getting into in a relationship with me. But also on the other hand of like her watching the person that she loves be hurt by like the public scrutiny and public backlash and all the comments and everybody just speculating all the time, and like knowing that she can't protect the person that she loves from that is also like just as painful as her being exposed, is watching other people that she loves being pulled apart because they love her. And then there's an outro, which is kind of like a Frankenstein of like a little bit of the verse melody and a little bit of the chorus melody. My only one, this is back to the first line. But what I thought is really interesting about this repetition is that in a lot of her songs where she goes back to the beginning, she just does songs or like lines that have already been in the song. And the rest of this, or the next like 3 lines, are new. So it's like she's cycling through this, but her mind is changing as it's going. Like she's not fully over this. It still hurts underneath the scars, but they're scarred over. It looks different. It feels different than it did before.
Yeah.
My Kingdom Come Undone. I was like, why does this sound familiar? And then I was like, oh, right. I was raised Catholic.
The Lord's Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer. So that's like, thy kingdom come, blah, 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 blah.
Thy will be done.
Taylor's God Confirmed.
So, well, it's just another way that she's saying my religion is fractured. I know. I didn't think that was a serious note, but just
because, you're like, actually, Kat?
No, because when you talk so eloquently and so beautifully, and I just sit here like, yeah, totally, yeah. So now I'm jumping in. I'm like, anyway, in Christianity, like I just
do it. I don't talk more. Wait, do it? Yeah, I do. But
no, it's the whole religious thing. It's the false god thing. It's the fact that like my kingdom, my world, my religion has come undone instead of thy will be done. You know, it's just like playing off of that. And I think that's really like, what a very subtle, very brilliant way to convey that.
Exactly. It's also like continue to parallel like false god. And I also kind of like, so in false god, it's like, I know heaven's a thing. I go there when you touch me, honey, hell is when I fight with you. It's like thy kingdom come is heaven. Thy kingdom come undone is hell. Yeah. So it's like you're my heaven and my hell.
And the next line in the Lord's Prayer is on earth as it is in heaven. So heaven's a mess, earth's a mess. Just like me for real.
Just like me for real. My broken drum, you have beaten my heart. Honestly, I feel like I ran out of steam at this point in my notes. All I wrote was his drum broke, so instead he played her heart. Which I don't feel is good, but that's what I got.
Read it to me one more time.
His drum broke.
No, not that part.
Oh.
The lyric.
My broken drum, you have beaten my heart.
Interesting.
But like, how else am I supposed to take that?
Well, I'm thinking about like comparing her heartbeat to a drum, to the rhythm maybe, but now it's not.
Who's to say? Clearly not us.
Not today. We can't.
And then she repeats the lines from the chorus, don't want no other shade of blue but you, no other sadness in the world would do. And even though like the rest of this outro is different, these final lines are her still coming, like no matter how many times she changes the variable, the ending is still, I want to be with you even if it hurts me.
Yeah. Big ouch.
My discussion question, because I feel like this whole song is just about being in a relationship that you know like hurts you, but like wanting to stay in it even though it hurts. And so my discussion question is, this is not supposed to be pointed. I know we both have answers for it, but like what was like the final straw that made you realize the relationship wasn't working and you like needed to leave it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to actually answer this one. I've talked about it a few times before, but I was in a very unhealthy situationship sort of moment in college, and it was very much like I know I should stop this, And then I just never did.
Yeah.
And I remember it took until finally I literally said, I just don't, like, I can't do this anymore. Like there is just a point in your body and in your brain where you're like, I need out. Like it wasn't even a thing, because a lot of things had happened over and over in increasing levels of bad. And then finally just reach a point where you're just like, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's just a moment where, you know, where it's time to go.
Yeah.
And then I listened to that song a lot.
I wish I had It's Time to Go when I was in the relationship that I was thinking of. It's like I went on this, like, was supposed to be a romantic, like, weekend getaway, Valentine's Day weekend, and we got there, and then, like, we were there and things were going, like, kind of like we were kind of on the verge, and then it was like the second day of the weekend, and I was like, oh, do you want to go do something cute in town? And they're like, oh, I have to do homework. And I was like, you didn't do, we've been off school for 4 days, why didn't you do your homework? And that was like the moment that I was just like, oh, they don't give a fuck. So that was
You
my
know
example.
when it's time to go.
You do. And then you go from Hoax to So Long London. And that's Hoax.
Wow. The Black Dog.
I got one of those.
You sure do. That's actually one of my personal connections. It's literally just Spear's existence.
We're all personally connected to that.
We sure are. All right. So, one sec. I just want to refresh.
Anyways.
Man, I really thought being a theater kid would have pulled off for the bit. I can't do that. We had a bit planned where I would drink from this empty glass of water the whole episode. I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
She couldn't channel her inner Barbie.
Whew. Okay. All right. Sorry. That was a failed bit, but I'm leaving it in. So.
I also like how you didn't even make it like 5 seconds into the bit because I just was laughing too hard.
You face palmed.
I face palmed so hard that Abby was like, "Yeah, the bit's over."
I can't do it. I was thinking about doing
If
it
I could have been
subtly.
cool about it, then like it could have
During
worked.
your half, I was thinking about doing it subtly because I'm like, maybe the heat will be off of me, and then I'm like, the song is too serious. If Kat notices, it'll throw off the flow.
Now you've thrown him off his rhythm.
So anyway, we're done with that.
We're over it.
But I have a nice cup here.
It's a very nice cup.
It's empty. All right. The Black Dog is the 17th track on the Torture Poets department. It's technically a deluxe track that was available prior to the 2 a.m. drop on special CDs and vinyls, but to me, it was more notably the kickoff on the anthology back half of the album.
Mm-hmm.
The deluxe edition or whatever vinyl that I have has the manuscript as the bonus track. But Kat has this one.
I'm holding it up. I have no impulse control. I bought all the variants of the CDs. I
So
wanted
that's
the
exciting.
magnets.
Also,
and the bookmarks.
So valid. I wrote these notes literally a week ago, so we'll see how it goes. I don't remember what I wrote.
This is a surprise to all of us.
It is. This is produced by Swift Enough. The Black Dog is an actual pub in London that has since been swarmed by Swifties. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of genius because if it's actually a place that her ex goes to all the time, now he never can ever again.
Never again.
Never. It's been ruined.
Honestly, so girl boss of her to do that.
It really is. This song was originally titled "Old Habits Die Screaming." That could have been something that's not true, but I did write it down, so hopefully I fact checked it at the time. It was performed as a surprise song on the Eras Tour, June 21st, 2024, literally like a week before yours. In London, mashed up with Come Back, Be Here, and Maroon.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
There's a lot going on there. There's a fun little typo in the lyric booklet for the Black Dog edition. It says, "Sis weeks of breathing clean air." Can we fact check that?
We can fact check that. I have that. We can fact check it live on the air.
Live on the pod.
Live on the pod. That's pre-recorded.
"Sis weeks of breathing clean air. I still smell smoke."
It does say "sis."
Does it?
It's got a Z.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That was brain cell synergy there.
It really was.
She's so pretty.
Oh, she's the
Sorry.
prettiest. I have literally the vinyl is on the front of like the rack that I have for all my records, and every time I'm just like, wow.
I know. I love looking around. This is like the best part about having this set at my apartment is I'm just like, here's a bunch of Taylor Swift posters.
It's also the only deluxe edition where the bonus song has its respective lyric on the back. I guess the other bonus or deluxe editions don't. Yeah. All right. Personal connections. On our live stream prior to the drop of the album, someone told us that this song had something to do with location sharing, but didn't say anything else. I guess they listened to the leaked album. I guess that happened.
Yeah, or it's possible that they just were like a little bit ahead of us because we were on live when we found out that the album dropped.
No, this was like when we were baking cookies. Oh. Yeah, I remember they were just like, this is all I'm going to say, location sharing. And you and I were like, ooh,
spicy. It was spicy.
This was the only deluxe song that got leaked, I guess. So
that makes sense because the way that leaks happen for Taylor Swift albums generally is that the people who are packaging the CDs just steal one and put it up online. So it's probably what happened is that the Black Dog variant is what got leaked. So therefore only that song got leaked
that
because
makes
the
sense.
other three.
That's shitty. Don't leak albums.
I hope it's shitty at the
Black
factory.
At the factory. I passed by a place called the Black Dog in Cape Cod when I was there. And then my brother got me this glass, which I don't think is from that place, but it does have a dog on it.
There's a lot more places called the Black Dog than I ever thought because every time I see one, I'm like, oh my God, the Black Dog.
Right.
When I was in Providence, there was a food truck called the Black Dog.
Really?
That was like donuts and stuff, but I was super nauseous because I had the COVID.
So it was shitty there.
It was shitty. It was shitty for me because I couldn't eat their stuff and it looked really good.
Aw. I ranked this song pretty consistently at 5 or 6 on all my rankings. This last note's stupid.
Say
what?
You heard my notes.
Literally, and it's literally a bit. I wrote a bit in my notes. I'm gonna act it out. On a more serious personal connection, ha 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 ha.
What?
Like to the tune of "What Makes You Beautiful."
I know that, but what is the?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Gonna be so for real. I have no idea what that is.
Is there a black dog in that music video?
Oh, I know why. It's because I relate to it.
Oh.
It's literally just me laughing because I relate to it. Okay, sure, Jan.
Fair enough.
All right.
You know what?
I also screenshotted my initial reactions that I wrote down while listening to this, which is, oh, hey, we get my F word. This one fucking hits. I've had this happen. Broken heart emoji. And then I just sort of screamed about a couple of lyrics that I loved.
We'll post probably on our TikTok, perhaps on our Instagram, our like an edited version of our first listen reactions.
Ooh, yeah. Oh gosh.
I honestly haven't watched that back since.
Me neither.
And you haven't because it's on my phone.
Right. So I can't do that. So now we're gonna get into the lyrics, and this is the note where this is the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life. I have been so excited to share this with you for a week now.
Okay. I'm so excited.
I'm really excited. Okay. The writer at Genius for the Black Dog song was so wild for this.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to have to read the entire quote. I can do this.
You can do this.
In the 526,969 word fan fiction titled All the Young Dudes by MS King Bean 89, while in an argument, Remus Lupin calls Sirius Black, Mr. Tell Me a Fucking Secret. And after this, Remus stops telling Sirius things. This causes Sirius to become someone who, until recent events, you, Remus, shared your secrets with. This is just one of many reasons why the Black Dog is Sirius talking to Remus. I also feel the need to include the fact that Sirius Black has the ability to transfigure himself into a large black dog whenever he feels like it. This is something I could genuinely write a full-length essay on. And then they included the link to AO3.
This is one of my favorite Taylor Swift conspiracy theories. This is one of my favorites. Okay, UnCarly on YouTube has this really funny Taylor Swift conspiracy theories video where she's like listing all the different conspiracy theories, and this one is my favorite.
You've heard of this?
Oh, obviously. What do I look like? Do I look like I touch grass? No. I look like I'm allergic to it. So, basically, All the Young Dudes is a 500,000 word. I haven't read it. I have not read this fan fiction because I don't really engage with Harry Potter stuff anymore because JK Turfling. So basically, the author of this fanfic, nobody knows anything about them. This is the most popular fan fiction in the Marauders fandom, which is an entirely like fanon thing. There are like 5 actual facts from the original Harry Potter books that talk about the Marauders, which is like the era of Hogwarts when Harry's dad and mom went to Hogwarts. Okay. And so there's a huge fandom for this. And part of it is like kind of in response to J.K. Rowling being the worst, is that people took back the world and they made like everybody's a person of color, or not like everybody, but like a lot of the characters, like they'll make James Potter will be Indian, or like a lot of the other characters, like the side characters that are mentioned like once in like Order of the Phoenix, they're like, and now she's a main character. All the Young Dudes is so popular that there is a OC, an original character in this fanfic that has other fan fictions with the character in it.
Whoa.
That is how popular this is. His name is Grant. Whoa. He dates Remus Lupin. But it is in the end a wolf star, which is what Remus Lupin and Sirius Black's ship is.
Okay.
That's what the fanfic is. And the thing that happens that like made them have a fight, and like this is just kind of like the fanon accepted thing. Didn't think you'd be getting this on a Taylor Swift podcast.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Is the whole thing where like Snape went and like caught him in the Shrieking Shack. Shrieking Shack. In the Shrieking Shack. And I hope it's shitty in the Black Swamp. Okay. So basically what the conspiracy theory is that this entire fanfic was written during the break that Taylor Swift took from the public eye. No. And the writer of the fanfic's username is Miss King Bean 89. And there are some like things that are in there that people are like, oh my God, this is like Taylor Swift, like this whatever XYZ song like feels like something from this fic, like the Black Dog. There's like genuine conspiracy theories out there about this, and I think it's the funniest thing because I think it would be so funny if Taylor Swift was like, nobody can talk to me. I'm gonna write an anonymous 500,000 word fan fiction, because as we know, she's always going. She's always got things going.
True. She does always have things going.
She took 3 years off of music. What else was she gonna write?
Honestly, like,
it's not the weirdest.
She's even going to be the most popular anonymously.
Exactly.
Get out.
Get out. So
that's amazing. I didn't know. I thought that this genius writer was just
I literally explained this to Brienne like last week.
Really? This was the first I'd heard, because I'm so chronically offline. I don't know anything. And
I'm going to send you the video and make you watch it. Honestly, you would love UnCarly.
That is so wild. Yeah, when I saw this genius writer wrote that, I was like, what are we doing?
And then I was like, yes, and.
Here? Did you write this genius article?
I wish.
Oh my goodness. And they did include the link to AO3. So if you want to read this fic, you can go to the genius
500,000 words.
Yeah,
even I cap it off at 200K personally.
All right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I just had to start with that, because that's how genius
and I finished
started. It. And we appreciate you for it. All right. Now we can get into the lyrics for real now. All right. I
love that I was like, I can't think. I can't do anything important. And then I'm like, info dump about something I literally haven't read. But
no, that's amazing. This is going to be...
Sorry, continue.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. Wow. I think my favorite thing now, this new thing that we're doing, is when we do random deep dives on totally, like, things not related at all to Taylor Swift. Like the albatross thing still makes me laugh. This makes me laugh. All right. So anyway.
Niche knowledge.
It's like how we were talking to a friend of the podcast, Gabby, once, and she was like, the podcast, you don't even really talk about Taylor Swift that much. You just gotta say whatever.
We say whatever, and Taylor Swift is just the backdrop.
That's true. All right. So, I am someone who, until recent events, you shared your secrets with. So,
ouch.
She can't even bring herself to say what the recent event is. The recent event being a breakup, right? Like, she can't even get herself to say it. And the way that she's saying that, like, I'm not an ex, I'm someone that you used to share your secrets with, which is just, I'm getting chills literally just saying this out
same.
Loud. It's just,
and it's very like, I'll watch your life in pictures like I used to watch you sleep.
It's a big ouch. And your location, you forgot to turn it off.
Rough.
I
wasn't even doing that on purpose, but you know what? Yes, and rough and rough.
So, sharing locations with people that you're really close with is something. Kat and I share our locations with each other.
That's why I was like, shit, I'm running late, and then I was like, great, Abby is too.
Yeah, it's a good system for us.
It really works.
But that's something that you do with someone that you really trust, that you're really connected with, and so she's saying you forgot to turn it off, as in it was his job to stop sharing his location so she wouldn't think to check post breakup, but he didn't think of that at all. He maybe genuinely forgot, or he didn't think it was a big deal, but like, it is a big deal.
And the thing is, like, I don't think I could, like, I can stop sharing my location with you, but I can't, like, I don't know if I can unadd somebody else's location.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't
like.
yeah,
It's a responsibility of like she can do her part
That's
of
true.
like removing her location from him. But if he forgets to turn his off, like that's on him.
Yeah, so now she can just see. And like if you're going through a breakup, I look through people's windows. I look at your little dot as you're walking around on the map. The Marauders map, if you will.
The Marauders map, if you will.
I know.
You know what? You know what? Your location, you forgot to turn it off. It's the Marauders map. Miss King Bean. I feel like I have to read this fic so that I can. Should we make that like a bonus content episode for the Patreon?
Okay.
It's just me reading this fic and doing all the Taylor Swift parallels.
The thing is, like, you know, there's the Harry Potter
of it all.
thing of it all. That is really interesting, though, and also that I'd never heard of this before. Wow.
I have things for you to watch.
Okay, I'll do my research later. And so I watch as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog. She's just watching his little dot.
I also think it's interesting that it's like some bar.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not a place where he used to go. So it's something new.
Yeah, that's true. It's another, like, I used to know your secrets, and now you've got this new bar.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. I must have copy pasted this. I've never used the word metaphysical in my life. Anyway, no. This just makes no sense. I definitely wrote this. Okay. So, I'm going to paraphrase. The Black Dog is a fixture in British folklore. Moniker. Did I write this? Did I not?
I wonder if you like half stole it and then kind of tried to like rework it because you're like, I can't phrase it better than they phrased it, and then you just left it.
I Frankensteined it once again with Frankenstein.
Frankenphrase.
It did not work out in my favor. All right, so the Black Dog is also known as the Grim. It's said to foretell bad luck or death. It's construed with being an omen.
We've all seen Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. It's the Grim.
And then there's also the metaphor of the Black Dog. Also, the metaphor of the Black Dog, most famously by Winston Churchill, for depression and depression-driven alcohol abuse. I didn't know that.
That's why I got a Black Dog. I'm kidding. I'm
Oh my
kidding.
goodness
I'm
gracious.
kidding. Just the depression, not the alcohol abuse.
Whew, all right. And pierce new holes in my heart. Pierce through the heart but never killed from Antihero. And she just repeats, you forgot to turn it off. Like, it could be the repetition of her ruminating on the location, or she's saying that you forgot to turn her love for him off, if that makes sense. Like, this still feels unfinished. This breakup still doesn't feel real. Mm-hmm. That's probably a reach, but that's what I wrote.
You know, I see it. I see the vision.
I'm so glad.
I think the sentiment is right.
You support me through anything, and I love that. Thank you. We get to the pre-chorus, and it hits me. Oh, wow, we have a personal connection. Okay. I guess I wrote about this, and I guess I'm going to be sharing it now on the internet.
Fair enough.
When I went through my first big breakup, I sobbed for days. Like, I've said before that to me, the emotional pain of a breakup was like the worst pain I'd ever felt up to that point. I was probably like 21 years old. And it was horrible. And I remember my mom telling me that grief feels like waves in the ocean, just like hitting you over and over again, because like you'll just cry and cry and cry, and then you'll be fine for a bit, and then all of a sudden you'll feel another wave of that grief. Mm-hmm. And I think about that a lot. And so that's what I'm thinking about when I hear this line. Like it hits me. This wave just hits me, and now I'm crying in the club.
That reminds me, I remember after my grandpa passed away, he loved the song Dancing Queen by ABBA, and right after, like, you know, my whole family came here, everybody went home, and my one cousin texted me like the day after she went home and was like, I was just at the club, and she walked in, and then Dancing Queen started playing, and it was like her first time out since our grandpa died, and she was like, and then I had to go to the bathroom and cry because like fucking Dancing Queen played at this random bar.
Yeah. Was it the Black Dog?
Who knows? Is there a Black Dog in Boston? I don't know.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
And then we get to, I just don't understand. And that made me make the connection to how did it end? Like, I still don't know.
Yeah.
How you don't miss me at the Black Dog. So she's talked a lot in the past, and we've talked a lot about how, like, just between us at the love affair, man, you too. How's your heart after breaking mine for Mr. Perfectly Fine? Like, always constantly being like, do you care as much as I care? Mm-hmm. And that questioning. So I don't understand how you don't miss me at the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. That's a really long line, but the whole thing basically saying that, like, why aren't you thinking of me when this is happening? When like this song that we liked together is happening and you don't feel anything. You just jump up. And like this person that you're with is too young to know, which is like, dig at that. Like, I'll get older, but you'll never stay my age sort of situation. And then also being like, but you don't care.
I also think it's interesting how it's like, it builds in a way, because it's like, and I just don't understand how you don't miss me at the Black Dog.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand how you don't miss me because you're drinking. And then like when specifically this song plays, that was our song, that was intertwined in the Magic Fair. Like, how does that not make you think of me? And like when the other person doesn't react the way that you expected me to, like how are you not thinking about me right now? I like to think that Taylor Swift is on, you know, those little like jukebox apps that you can do at bars. I like to think that she went on the Black Dog's like little jukebox thing and played the starting line and then hacked into the security cameras to see him jump up. This is where
I really like that
my
conspiracy.
brain is.
Honestly,
new conspiracy just dropped.
I believe it, and I love that. I love that. The starting line is a 2000s emo band who shouted Taylor out for including them in the album. So that's fun.
Just like Charlie Puth, except without the 2000s emo band.
Just like it. For that phrase, the magic fabric of our dreaming, like it's such a beautifully heartbreaking way to be like, they used to have a whole future woven together. Like our dreams, our future, it was all together. It was all woven together.
Used to, what's the line you're losing me of, like, this room, we liked it because the light.
Oh,
now
yeah.
I just sit in the dark and wonder if it's time.
I think I mentioned that in here somewhere.
Oh, beat you to it.
No, you sure did.
I'm zooming.
And then that line, old habits die screaming. And she like screams too. I remember when we first heard that, we did lose our minds.
We were like, we reeled back.
Yeah,
we jumped up.
We did. That was, it's so good.
But
it's so good.
Metaphorically, we were jumping up.
Yeah, for sure. This lyric was announced with the deluxe, the Black Dog version of the album. It was also on the Old Habits Die Screaming Depression playlist. I still think that that playlist title is amazing. But also, old habits die hard is a common phrase about how hard it is to get over certain behaviors when they've become second nature, like checking your loved one's location, or just like being in love with that person. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like after a breakup, when you have to like kind of relearn your own life without another person in it, I think a lot about, there's a quote from Halsey when she was writing her second album, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, where she was talking about how she had to like relearn about herself because like she had spent all this time being like, oh, I'm in the car driving somewhere, my partner's also there, so I have to pick something that we both like. And it's weird to be like, oh, I can pick music that just I like, that he doesn't like. It doesn't matter anymore.
It's
what
like
he
begin
likes.
again.
Yes.
Yeah. But those old habits die screaming when you're in the throes of the breakup. Like it's not just an easy process.
Shade of blue, but you. Like I want the inconvenience of loving you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just like I just needed a moment.
I just be saying shit.
Almost published author, Kat. Woo!
You can tell I used all my brain cells yesterday to finish my draft.
I'm so excited to read it because I know you've changed so much since I last read it, and
I've cut like 15,000 words.
Wow. Okay.
And also changed the plot.
Yeah. that might.
I was really mind blown when I finished the draft yesterday, and it was at 86,000 words because when I started working with my editor, it was just over 100,000.
Yeah. Wow.
Renee, more like Risley.
Absolutely.
She never listened. That was bad. Anyways.
All right. I need your lyric booklet again. Yes. Because for verse 2, I move through the world with a heart broken. Is it the heartbroken or a heartbroken? Because I found two different things.
With the heartbroken, and heartbroken's one word.
With the heartbroken. Okay, yes. Interesting. Because I got
also, can we trust it after Sis?
That's a good point. I don't know.
This doesn't give typo to me.
It doesn't give typo, but it's interesting because it could really go either way. If she's saying I move through the world with a heart broken, it also reminds me of How Did It End when she's just sort of pacing the store with this broken heart. I can do it with a broken heart, right?
Also, in your version, does the starting line have quotes around it? Because I find that really interesting. Also, there's a ... Damn. The punctuation is blowing my mind.
No, I don't have quotes, and I don't have the ...
The ... of it all. After I just don't understand there's a ...
That's so interesting. Well, so there's that with a heartbroken, but that's apparently not right. So the heartbroken as one word.
She's joined the masses of the heartbroken.
Exactly.
World.
And it reminds me of that line
Lonely
in Welcome
Hearts.
to New York where it's,
Kaleidoscopes of loud heartbeats under coats.
yeah, like she's moving with the heartbroken. And I know that no one watched our Welcome to New York episode, but I talked a lot about how that song is actually a lot sadder than it seems, and how everyone in New York is searching for something that they don't have, which means that they're inherently just a little sad.
Yeah. It also, for some reason, makes me think of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hope that you enjoy the show.
I love the Beatles.
Me too.
My longing state unspoken. I just wrote, and nobody even knows. From I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
True.
And then in Guilty as Sin, I keep these longings locked in lowercase inside a vault. So another time that she talks about longing and not saying it. Being unable to or just feeling like she can't. Either way. And I may never open up the way I did for you. The feeling after a relationship when you're like, I will never love anyone like I loved you. I will never be the person I am with you with anyone else. Because, like, you are a different person with everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very existential concept, but, like, you kind of are. You have different, your own language. I know that Taylor has another song where she talks about we had our language that no one else. You taught me a secret language I can't speak with anyone else. That.
Yeah, and I think, like, I can't remember when we were talking about Speak Now as, like, her transition into, like, real, quote-unquote, adulthood. And, like, that idea of, like, your heart is broken a different way every time that it's broken.
Yeah. And it's also what your song was talking about where, like, after she was pulled apart, like, she's back together, but she still has those scars. And I'm never going to open up the way I did for you because, like, her body is literally different now. Like, when you go through trauma, it's so terrifying to even consider opening up and being vulnerable with another person ever again.
And also, if somebody's there while you're experiencing trauma, you're going to open up to them in a different way than when you have, like, you know, time away from that traumatic event. You're not going to tell people the things that you might while you're in it.
Yeah.
Because you have, like, the distance of time and judgment.
Yeah. It's long and complicated and painful. And all of those best laid plans. What is this, a crossover episode? I also talked about the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, is a quote from the 1785 poem To a Mouse by Robert Burns. I just love that it's called To a Mouse.
And it's literally a poem where you're talking to a mouse.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how much you mastermind, life be lifing. You don't get to control it. You can't plan all the things that happen to you.
You can plan for a change in the weather and time, but I never planned on you changing your mind.
Oh, damn.
That really is very relevant.
Wow, it really is. This next lyric is one of the ones that I wrote down in my initial reactions where I was like, and it's, you said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too.
Fucking brutal,
That is
Taylor.
brutal. That's brutal. The coward claimed he was a lion in love of my life. And it hurts so bad because this guy literally says, like, you need a brave man who'll give you kids and a wedding ring, made her think that it could happen, and then was like, oh yeah, JK.
You knew. The bridge of my song, all the you knew, all these things.
Yeah. And it's like, it's common for people to pretend in relationships, especially in the beginning of the relationship, where you just sort of put your best self forward. But then there are some people that take it too far. And then all of a sudden the relationship you thought you had isn't the relationship you're in anymore. And, like, how do you trust after that when things are going well? Like,
You don't.
It's so rough. It's brutal out here. All right. This time for the pre-chorus, and it kills me. And it's interesting because earlier I talked about pierced through the heart but never killed, and now it killed her. Ow.
Dying hurts, I've heard. Sitting in
so
a
I've
tree,
heard.
D-Y-I-N-G, you know?
Yeah. So we go back to this chorus, and she changes it up a little bit. How you don't miss me in the shower and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. In So Long London, wet through my clothes, weary bones got the chill. Taylor compares rain to this big romantic thing until the more recent eras when it's become a lot sadder and more representative of love instead of, like, passion.
The Fortnite music video, you talk about that?
No.
In the Fortnite music video, she's in the rain.
There you go. The shower can feel like being in the rain. So like,
I mean, you're not wrong.
I think the rest, I am just reading, and now that I've read it out loud, I'm like, yeah, that's silly.
Yeah,
I wrote that
water
down.
falling on you. Yeah, for sure. Definite parallels there.
All right. But it's like, is she crying in the shower thinking of him and wondering if like he does the same sort of vibes, and she's just comparing it to rain? I don't know. I don't know.
She's crying in the shower, and then she's just like, well, she's thinking about the time that she was rain soaked, and she's like, does he remember it too?
Yeah. And also her body is shaking, and like that can mean so many things. That can mean fear. That can mean she's cold. That can mean she's angry. It's a lot of things. Do you hate me? Was it hazing for a cruel fraternity? These are the wrong lyrics. Where did I get these?
No, hazing for a cruel fraternity.
But it says, was it hazy?
Oh.
Yeah, that's wrong. All right. Well, the lyrics are wrong. That's fine.
Is that all caps? That's a lot of caps. Oh, Jesus, that's a lot of caps.
Oh, you know what it is, though? It's just the entire bridge of The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Were you sent by someone?
That's literally...
Wanted me dead.
Yeah, that. I just wrote, for this, I just wrote that entire bridge to The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Yeah.
We get Old Habits Die Screaming yet again. Where did I get this? All right. This implies that before and after the cruelty she feels she endured, she remained committed to the relationship, while this commitment and tolerance for her lover's behavior was out of fear and losing their commitment to her.
Interesting.
I think that might have been a genius quote. We'll see. All right. Now we get to the bridge. 6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke. And it just reminds me of the song Clean. But in that one, she's like, I can finally breathe. And in this one, she's like, yeah, but I miss the smoke, though. I kind of miss when I couldn't breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like your song where she's like, my twisted night, like the sweetest pain I've ever felt. And not having that anymore.
It also reminds me of when I dated a smoker, and I would smoke when they smoked, and then when we broke up, I wasn't addicted, but like, I didn't smoke that often, but also,
yeah,
it'd be like that.
It'd be like that.
It'd be addictive.
Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke? Esoteric means it's only understood by a small group of people, like an inside joke between the couple, or, you know, we just talked about hazing from a fraternity, so it could be like it was a joke on the fraternity. Like it could be playing off that too.
Yeah, like the idea that he's making a joke at her expense in knowing that she won't understand that it's at her expense because of the joke.
Now I want to sell my house. This is where I mentioned you're losing me. Remember looking at this room? We loved it because of the light.
Ooh.
Now I just sit in the dark and wonder if it's time. Yeah. Ouch. Also, I wrote The Last Great American Dynasty because like she bought the house in that one.
Then it was bought by me.
Yeah. I don't know. That's not really a thing, but
I mean, but Rebecca Harkness did like, I mean, did she sell the house or did she just die and then the house went up?
I don't know. But anyway, there you go.
Or well, I thought of a way to make it work. I think that she kept the house until she died, and then it like it was kind of like abandoned for a while, and then Taylor bought it, and then it was bought by me. But so it's the idea of like, if it's true love, you would want to hold on to the house, but because the love ended, because they broke up and not because of like a death.
That's true.
Gotta sell the house.
Now I want to sell my house and set fire to all my clothes.
Mood.
I set fire to my clothes. I'm gonna cut that shit out. Jesus Christ. All right. I wrote, I would say mood, but I have in fact never done this. I felt it though.
I have never lit things on fire for a relationship.
For a relationship, but for other reasons?
Or I have never done an arson.
Have you ever committed arson?
No.
I had a brief little pyro phase. Not like anything bad. I just really liked lighting things on fire. But like it was like things that you're supposed to light on fire, you know, like matches.
That's, yeah, I don't know if striking a match is lighting it on fire.
Well, it is when you drop it and you almost set your house on fire. And then
that's a little, yeah.
And then that thus ended my pyro phase.
It's short-lived.
Feel stupid going back to this now. All right. I compared it to Dear Reader, burn all the files, desert all your past lives. And then she also says, and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. Which is just like, that's intense. Like she just want, like, please make it stop. Like, exorcise me of this demon.
Even if I die screaming, like that is the next line.
Yeah.
Like, people have died during exorcisms because
Yeah.
that was a demon being exorcised mid-word. But like, because usually they don't die because they had a demon in them. They die from like dehydration or like exhaustion or something, because it's like this very intense process.
Mm.
Yeah.
I also wrote the idea that Taylor might... Wait, I don't know if I wrote this or if Genius wrote it, so I'm not going to pretend to take credit for it.
Somebody wrote this.
Someone wrote this. It could have been me. The idea that Taylor might die screaming if she's exorcised of her demons might imply that these demons are too much of her to leave behind, so she'd be dead without them at this point, and like the bad or wounded parts of her are a major part of who she is.
I feel like you wrote that.
I feel like I did write that.
Like, it's a banger in a way that your bangers are bangers. That was an Abby original banger, I think.
I think so. I suspect it. I might have to double check that. And then even if I die screaming mirrors the other line, old habits die screaming, suggesting that she is the old habit that her ex-lover could not break. That is genius. That was not me.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it's also what you said about how like she would die screaming. She doesn't care. She wants to be exorcised of this demon, even if it like kills her and she dies screaming and it's painful, because it couldn't possibly be worse than what she's currently doing. Mm-hmm. And then she says, and I hope you hear it. Like she just wants an acknowledgement that he knows that she is in pain, because he's out at bars listening to the starting line, jumping up, dancing with his like younger date.
And she's at home exorcising demons.
Yeah. Just a Tuesday.
Just a
Tuesday in it. And then she says, and I hope it's shitty.
She's so real for this.
The black dog. Me too, girl. I hope it's shitty. And then she goes through the chorus again. And the only other change is that she changes magic fabric of our dreaming to tragic fabric of my dreaming. So like it's tragic instead of magic. It's my instead of our. There's no our anymore. Like that's the tragedy.
I just thought of something.
Okay, tell me.
So she sees his location going to the black dog. She made up the rest of it. She doesn't know the starting line's playing. She doesn't know that he's there with somebody else. She doesn't know that the other person's younger. Like this is her tragic fabric of her dreaming, is her torturing herself with like, she sees him at the black dog and she's just like, and now I will create an entire scenario to torture myself with.
Oh, that's so real.
That's so absolutely so real.
That's canon.
It's canon. We've just canonized it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm losing my mind. I didn't have much fun in the first place, but
they're our minds. They're gone.
God.
Oh no, please come back, please.
Spare us.
Another visual bit.
All right.
And audio.
All right. Because tail between your legs, you're leaving. Dogs have their tail between their legs.
Yeah, and it means that they're like scared.
Yeah.
And they're like a coward.
Yeah. It's like
coward claimed he was a lion.
That, yeah. And it's like, it's just a humiliating little roast, and it also relates to like the song's called The Black Dog, so that's fun. You're leaving. Like, is he leaving the bar? Is it the relationship? That's actually my discussion question.
That's interesting. I feel like it's like with the revelation of like her creating this whole scenario to torture herself, I wonder if it's like he has this realization that he misses her and he's like leaving the bar alone because he's, tail between his legs. He's scared to move on the way that she's scared to move on because old habits die screaming. Maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't really have an answer.
I also feel like this song and just like kind of a lot of the rest of Tortured Poets and like even my song is about how like being in a relationship with her can be very difficult, and therefore like when people leave, it's usually not just falling out of love. It's also like the fear of that being the way it'll be forever.
Yeah. Ow. And we get this little outro where things get really quiet, and she says, I still can't believe it because old habits die screaming. It's just so real. And one thing that I love about this ending, it is so dramatic because she doesn't even get the full word out. Like this whole time, she screams the word screaming throughout the song. And then here, like there's the shaky breath where they die scream.
Because it's like she can't even finish saying it.
Yeah, she doesn't have the energy to scream about it anymore. Okay, Abby. Either she's moving on or she lied. The anger died, and now she's left with the sadness. Old habits don't die screaming. They just die.
Damn. Okay, Abby.
Okay.
All right.
Slay. I guess. What a weird note to end on. But that's how best laid plans of mice and men do often go awry.
And this is how.
And is that song about the Marauders and that fanfiction? Did Taylor Swift write that fanfiction?
Do you think Taylor Swift is Miss King Bean? 89? Let us know.
Did you ever have a pyro phase? We've really covered a lot tonight.
Are you high right now? You ever feel nervous?
Yeah, so that's that. We did it.
We did it. We done it. It's done.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed listening to whatever the hell this is, we have so many things.
We have a Patreon where we have Swift Floor After Dark is one of the things on there. So like the stuff that gets cut from this episode ends up on there, and all of our episodes, there's clips from every single episode that we've put out on the Patreon.
Yeah.
We also put our episode notes on there. So if you want to see what we have to filter through to make sense, it's on there.
You got
pre-filter.
Like errors in the lyrics and all. It's just unfiltered chaos. And we also have those monthly live stream hangouts. We also have a Swiftie chat. We've just got like memes and whatever. I mean, it's just a great way to connect with us.
It's a fun time.
So join it if you can. So we've got that. We also have clips of our stuff and also stuff on our like stories and things on our Instagram at SwiftFloorPod.
And on our TikTok at SwiftFloorPod.
The Patreon is patreon.com/SwiftFloorPodcast. I wasn't sure whether to go pod or podcast. I went podcast.
It's also linked in the show notes.
Yes. And then other than that, we also want to give a quick thank you to our Swiftest tier people. So now future Editing Abby is going to say their names now. Editing Abby here, using a very crappy phone audio to say thank you to Bethany, September, M, and Ashley. Woo! Thanks, you guys. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
The names, they were said.
Oh,
Hooray.
thank you. Thank
I
you,
love
Editing
you.
Abby.
I hope that tonight when you go to bed and you lay down on your pillow, it's like the perfect temperature, and then you put your blanket on and you're like the perfect amount of cozy without being too hot or too cold.
Wow.
And you fall asleep in like 10 seconds.
That's
what I hope for
you. And we actually got to meet a few of them and for our live stream, and it was just really lovely.
It was really fun.
So thanks you guys for supporting us.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? If you liked this, then you can rate us on Spotify. You can leave us a review on Apple. Please make it a nice one because we text them to each other and go,
We do, especially when people leave the written ones.
Yeah.
On Spotify, you can now also leave comments. So let us know what you thought of the episode. We also will have our little discussion question and a poll for every episode on there. So chime in. I love seeing the responses from people. So
oh yeah, it's great. We've got such an amazing group of people that interact with us, and we're just so thankful. So
yeah,
there's
keep sending us Buffy the Vampire Slayer memes.
Yes, please do. Oh my gosh. So one of the Swiftest tier patrons told us that we got them to get into Joe, and that makes me so happy.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting for us.
And are also campaigning for us to get Joe Keery on our sitcom. So
which we too are campaigning for.
Yeah, we are campaigning for it. Joe Keery, if you're listening,
I
know you're listening, Joe. I know you got it through that whole episode.
Oh, for sure.
So anyway, that's it.
Crispy high five.
Crispy high five. Oh,
Chris.
Yeah, that one hurt. Just like these songs.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know what that was. I regret it immediately.
It died screaming. What did I just say?
Whoa.
What did I just say?
Wow.
Don't Tony Hawk. What did I do with fucking Tony Hawk?
Best laid plans for fucking real.
Too real.
Tony Hawk, come on the pod.